What if I told you that your future is sitting around you right now? What if the life you will live 5 years from today is quietly being shaped by the 5 people you spend the most time with? Look around. Think carefully. Who are the voices you hear every day? Who are the people who influence your thoughts, your habits, your confidence? Success is not just about talent. It is not just about hard work. It is about environment. It is about conversations. It is about the chairs around your table. And today, you are going to see why those chairs decide your destiny. Imagine this. You wake up every morning with big dreams. You want to start your own business. You want to improve your English. You want to get fit. You want to change your life. But every time you share your goal, someone laughs. Someone says, be realistic. Someone says people like us don't succeed. Slowly, without noticing, your fire becomes smaller. Your confidence becomes weaker. Your dream begins to feel impossible. Now imagine something different. Imagine that when you speak about your goals, someone says, how can I help? Imagine someone telling you, you can do it. Let's plan this together. Imagine sitting next to people who are already working hard, already learning, already growing. Feel the difference. It's the same you, same dream, but a completely different result. See, you are like a seed. And a seed can only grow if the soil is right. You once met a man named Daniel. You remember him clearly because he reminded you of yourself. He was not born rich. He was not the smartest student in school. He struggled with self-doubt, worked a simple job, earning just enough to survive. Every evening, he sat with the same group of friends at a small tea shop. They complained about their boss. They complained about money. They complained about successful people, saying they were lucky or dishonest. Daniel listened. At first, he felt comfortable. It was easy to blame the world. It was easy to say life was unfair. But one night, something changed. One of his friends said, nothing will ever change for us, and everyone nodded. Everyone agreed. In that moment, Daniel felt a strange fear. He saw his future. 10 years later, same tea shop, same complaints, same small life. And he asked himself one painful question. If I keep sitting in this chair, what will my life look like? That question became his turning point. You feel that question too, don't you? Because deep inside you know that growth requires discomfort. The next week, Daniel did something small but powerful. Instead of going to the tea shop, he went to a local library. But he saw students studying. He saw people reading books about business and self-development. Nobody was complaining. Nobody was blaming. The energy was different. At first, Daniel just observed. Then he started reading. He picked up books about mindset, about habits, about successful entrepreneurs. He learned about people like Oprah Winfrey, who rose from poverty to global influence. About Elon Musk, who faced failure again and again but refused to quit. He realized something important. Successful people are not special because of magic. They are special because of environment and decisions. Slowly, Daniel began talking to new people in that library. He met a young designer building an online brand. He met a woman studying English every night after her full-time job. He met a programmer learning new skills on weekends. These people spoke differently. They asked, what are you working on? Not what are you complaining about? They asked, what's your next goal? Not, why is life unfair? Without noticing, Daniel's language changed. His thoughts changed. His actions changed. But here's the lesson you must understand. You become the average of the 5 people you sit with most. If they are negative, you will slowly think negatively. If they are lazy, you will slowly accept laziness. If they are ambitious, disciplined, and growth-focused, you will rise with them. This is not about judging others. This is about protecting your future. You cannot fly like an eagle if you keep sitting with chickens who are afraid of heights. The 5 chairs represent your closest influences. Chair 1 is the complainer. Chair 2 is the dream killer. Chair 3 is the comfortable friend who avoids risk. Chair 4 is the quiet observer who never grows. Because influence works, and more importantly, which chair are you sitting in for someone else? Because influence works both ways. Daniel did not become successful overnight. He still faced fear. He still had doubts, but his environment pushed him forward instead of pulling him back. When he felt like quitting, Someone in his new circle reminded him of his goal. When he failed, they said, "Good. Now what did you learn?" Failure became feedback. Mistakes became lessons. And within 2 years, Daniel started a small online service business. It was not perfect. It was not easy. But it was growth. The tea shop still existed. His old friends still complained. But Daniel's chair had changed. And when your chair changes, your direction changes. So today, you must decide. Will you keep sitting where it feels comfortable? Or will you stand up, walk to a different table, and choose a new future? Your destiny is not decided by luck. It is decided by proximity, the conversations you allow, the standards you accept, the energy you tolerate. The 5 chairs around you are silently voting on your future every single day. There is something uncomfortable about growth that nobody talks about. When you change your chair, you change your identity. And when you change your identity, not everyone will clap for you. You will feel misunderstood. You will feel alone. You will question yourself. This is the moment when most people return to their old seat. You must understand this clearly. Comfort is addictive. When Daniel stopped going to the tea shop every evening, his friends noticed. At first, they joked. "Oh, now you are too busy for us?" They laughed. "Trying to become a millionaire?" The words sounded playful, but the message was clear. Stay the same, do not grow, do not leave us behind. You will face this moment too. When you start waking up early, when you start studying instead of scrolling, when you say no to gossip and yes to books, people will test your commitment. Not because they hate you, but because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. And stagnation feels safer when everyone shares it. Daniel almost gave up during those weeks. He missed the laughter. He missed the comfort of belonging. But then something powerful happened. One evening at the library, the young designer he met asked him a simple question. "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Daniel froze. No one had ever asked him that seriously. He had never allowed himself to think that far. That question became a mirror. And you need that mirror in your life. You need people who force you to look ahead, not just complain about today. That night, Daniel went home and wrote down a vision. He wrote about financial freedom. He wrote about helping his parents. He wrote about building something meaningful. The vision was not perfect English. It was not a perfect plan, but it was clear enough to guide him. Here's your second lesson. Clarity grows in powerful environments. If you surround yourself with small thinking, your vision will shrink. If you surround yourself with bold thinkers, your imagination will expand. Look at history. When Steve Jobs built Apple, he did not sit with people who said computers were impossible for ordinary homes. He surrounded himself with engineers and dreamers who believed in design, innovation, and disruption. When Serena Williams trained for greatness, she did not practice with people who accepted average performance. She trained with those who pushed her beyond her limits. Environment creates standards. Standards create results. Daniel slowly upgraded his standards. He stopped accepting excuses from himself. Stopped saying, "Maybe one day." Started saying, "What can I do today?" That shift changed everything. Created a small daily routine. 1 hour of learning. 1 hour of building his online service. 30 minutes of exercise to strengthen his discipline. Small steps. Consistent action. But here is the secret most people miss. Discipline becomes easier when your circle respects it. In his old group, discipline would have been mocked. In his new circle, discipline was normal. If he skipped a week of work, someone would ask, "What happened?" Not to criticize, but to encourage. Accountability is powerful. You need people who expect more from you than you expect from yourself. Now let me ask you something honestly. Who holds you accountable? Who challenges your excuses? Who pushes you when you feel tired? If no one does, then your circle is limiting your growth. The 5 chairs are not just physical people. They can also be digital influences. The podcasts you listen to, the YouTube channels you watch, the social media accounts you follow. If your feed is full of negativity, drama, and distraction, that is another table you are sitting at every day. Daniel understood this too. He cleaned his digital environment. He unfollowed accounts that made him feel insecure or distracted. He subscribed to educational content, He listened to motivational speeches while commuting. Slowly, his mind was rewired. Remember this: your brain absorbs what it is exposed to repeatedly. Repetition builds belief. Belief builds action. Action builds identity. 1 year later, Daniel was no longer the man who complained about his boss every evening. He had clients. Small ones, yes, but real ones. He had skills. He had confidence. More importantly, he had a new identity. Saw himself as a builder, not a victim. And it all began with a question about his chair. You may be thinking, what if I cannot change my circle immediately? That is a good question. Not everyone can leave their environment overnight, but you can start with one chair, one mentor, one book, one community, one positive influence. Growth does not require 5 new people instantly. It requires one courageous decision to stop accepting negativity as normal. Sometimes you will outgrow people. That is painful. But staying small to keep others comfortable is even more painful in the long run. Growth requires courage. Courage requires vision. Vision requires the right voices around you. You must protect your mind like a treasure, because your mind decides your future. The 5 chairs around you are shaping your thoughts every day. Are they building you or breaking you? Daniel's income was growing, but something deeper was changing. His confidence expanded. He began speaking differently. He stood taller. He thought bigger. His family noticed. He said, "You seem different." And he was. Not because he became someone else, but because he became more of who he truly could be. That is the power of environment. It does not change. Your core, it reveals your potential. Now, the real question is not whether the 5 chairs matter. The real question is this: will you have the courage to stand up and choose better seats for your future?
Sir, comes a moment in your life when you realize that no one is coming to rescue you. No perfect opportunity. No magical connection. No sudden luck. Just you. And the chairs you choose to sit in. This is where everything becomes serious. Because once you understand the power of your environment, you can never blame it again. Yet, Daniel reached that moment 2 years after he left the tea shop routine. His small online service business was stable. Not huge, not viral, but real. He had clients from different cities. He was earning more than his old job. And for the first time in his life, he felt in control. But success brought a new test. Comfort returned in a different form. Now, his new circle started celebrating small wins. They were proud of progress. But Daniel noticed something dangerous. Growth had slowed. The conversations were no longer about expansion. They were about maintaining. And maintaining can quietly become another form of stagnation. This is your 3rd lesson. Even good chairs must sometimes be upgraded. Growth has levels. Think. The people who inspired you at one stage may not be the people who challenge you at the next. This is not disrespect. This is evolution. Daniel remembered the question that changed his life. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So he asked it again, but this time his answer was bigger. He did not just want stability. He wanted impact. He wanted to mentor others from backgrounds like his. We wanted to build a team. He wanted freedom of time. And when he shared this bigger vision, something interesting happened. Some of his current peers looked uncomfortable. "That's risky," one said. "Be careful," another warned. Suddenly, he recognized a familiar pattern. Fear disguised as advice. Protection disguised as limitation. 2. And in that moment, Daniel understood something powerful. Every level of success requires a new level of association. You cannot reach a new mountain while holding hands with people afraid of heights. So he made another difficult decision. He began attending entrepreneur meets in larger cities. He joined online communities of founders earning 10 times more than him. At first, he felt small again. He felt inexperienced. He felt behind. But this time, instead of feeling discouraged, he felt energized. because now he understood the pattern. When you feel small in a room, it means you are in the right room for growth. In those spaces, conversations were different. They spoke about scaling systems. They discussed leadership. They analyzed failures like scientists studying data. Nobody complained about the economy. They focused on strategy. Nobody blamed competition. They improved their value. And slowly, Daniel's thinking stretched again. He hired his first assistant. He invested in better tools. He improved his marketing. Within another year, his income doubled. But the real transformation was internal. He no longer feared change. He expected it. He no longer clung to comfort. He chased challenge. And this is the ultimate lesson of the 5 chairs. Your future is decided by what you normalize. If struggle is normalized, you will struggle. If growth is normalized, you will grow. If courage is normalized, you will act bravely. Look at your daily life right now. Listen carefully to the conversations around you. Are they about possibility or limitation? Are they about solutions or excuses? Are they about learning or blaming? Your ears are doors. What you allow through them becomes your belief. And belief shapes destiny. But here is something even deeper. You are also a chair in someone else's life. Someone is watching you. Someone is listening to your words. Someone is being influenced by your standards. Are you the chair of courage? Or the chair of comfort? Are you the chair of growth? Or the chair of doubt? The power is not just in choosing better people, it is in becoming better influence. Daniel eventually returned to the tea shop one evening, not to sit permanently, but to visit. His old friends were still there. Same table. Same complaints. This time, the energy felt different. Not because they had changed, but because he had. One of them asked, "How did you do it?" And Daniel smiled. He did not give a long speech. He simply said, "I changed my chairs." That sentence carried years of discipline, discomfort, courage, and decision. You may think success requires massive action. And yes, action matters. But direction matters more. If you walk fast in the wrong direction, you only reach the wrong destination quicker. The 5 chairs give you direction. So here is your practical action plan. First, audit your circle. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Be honest about their mindset. Second, reduce exposure to chronic negativity. You do not need to fight anyone. Just limit the time. Third, intentionally add growth influencers. Join a community. Read powerful books. Follow mentors online. Fourth, upgrade regularly. Every year, ask yourself if your environment still challenges you. Fifth, become the example. Speak about goals. Take action publicly. Normalize discipline. You do not need permission to grow. You only need courage to stand up and move. Your life will not change because you watched one motivational video. It will change because you decide to protect your chairs daily. Because one day, 5 years from now, you will wake up in a reality created by today's environment. And when that day comes, you will either thank yourself for choosing growth or regret staying comfortable. The 5 chairs are silent. They do not shout. They do not force. They simply influence every conversation, every habit, every belief. And now the decision is yours. Will you stay seated where you are? Or will you stand up, walk toward a bigger table, and design a future that reflects your true potential? Remember this. Your destiny is not an accident. It is an environment. Choose wisely. Become boldly. And never forget that the people around you are either building your dream or quietly deciding its limits.